Khushbu madam.
Hello.
Dr. Khushbu, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So now I think we need to start
Because-
because time regularity is very important.
Yes, sir. मैंने फोन किया है वहाँ पे, लेकिन अभी स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं ऐसा बोला है.
Okay, okay.
मैडम आप स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं, मैंने रिकॉर्डिंग
हाँ.
ऑन किया है, आप चालू करिए.
ओके मैडम, ओके कर रहे हैं. Hello, good morning everyone. Myself Dr. Khushbu Solanki. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this webinar. Today we are honored to have with us a distinguished guest, Dr. Bhanu Chander sir, completed BHMS from Devas Homeopathic Medical College and MD in Organon of Medicine from Gurukul Mishri Homeopathic Medical College, practicing as a consultant homeopathic physician at Swara Homeo Clinic in Hyderabad, attending Swara Homeo Gurukul since 2017, and completed teacher training course in Swara Gurukul under guidance of Dr. Shekhar Algundgi sir. He is giving us knowledge about importance of Organon, Repertory, and Homeopathic Materia medica. As we gather here today, we have the unique opportunity to learn from the Dr. Bhanu Chander sir experience and knowledge about this subject. So without much delay, I invite you all to join me in extending warm welcome to Dr. Bhanu Chander sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, madam, for your warm welcome. Is my screen is visible, ma'am? And am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So good morning to everyone. So it is another opportunity to share my experience with you all, and I welcome you all for the second day of 21 days of summer school. So second day of 21 days of summer school sessions, it is conducted by the Vidhyadeep University, Vidhyadeep Homeopathic Medical College in collaboration with the Swara Homeo Gurukul. So my sincere gratitude to the Dr. Shekhar Algundgi sir from Swara Homeo Gurukul and Dr. Vipul Shastri sir, the principal of Vidhyadeep Homeopathic Medical College, and extended gratitude to the college management for conducting this type of webinars and giving the chance to speakers like us and helping the students to learn many practical things like this. So today's my topic is practical importance of Organon of Medicine, Materia medica, and Repertory. So overall, these three branches of homeopathy are major branches of homeopathy. Alone single branch is a big subject. So let us see what we can learn in this session of 2 hours. So whole system is incomplete if any one of three discipline is not adequately understood. The system is incomplete. That's where the Materia medica, Organon, and Repertory has to be studied very thoroughly. If you want to practice homeopathy completely or classically or successfully, you have to know the three branches of homeopathy. This is a three-legged stool. These are interdependent and complementary to each other. When you take the case, if you don't get the if you don't know the medicine, just you have to put the symptoms into rubric form in repertory, then you will get the medicine. Or if you know the medicine, but you don't know whether it is the exact medicine or not, then you have to keep that symptom uh, in repertory, then you will get that confirmation that this remedy is correct. In this way, these are interdependent and complementary to each other. So Materia medica is an ocean full of perils, and Repertory is a suitable device, and Organon of medicine is a guides us how to make the best use of the hard-earned peril. That means Materia medica have the many dynamic remedies, many useful remedies which has capacity to cure many n number of diseases. So to reach that medicine, which are perils, we required some device, we required some tool, that is nothing but the repertory. It is an index of Materia medica, which is easy to go to that peril, easy to go to that remedy. That makes us very easy. It acts like a device. So Organon of medicine. Now we went there and we brought that peril, but how to use that? We know the medicine, but how to use that? What way to use that? How to administer that medicine? In which case, what type of routes we have to do administer? These all can be learned from the Organon of medicine. That is where these three branches are very important. So now in present time, all three branches has developed very advancedly. So where all of us are very thorough in one of these branches, but we have to be thorough in all three branches. Initial days of practice, you may be perfect in Materia medica or Repertory or Organon of medicine, but as a practice grows on, you have to be perfect in all these three branches. So there are many tools has came to learn these things thoroughly and master these things. So many softwares are came, many new techniques are came to master these three branches. So that is where these are important. They become functionally independent and complete unit, but they have many things common and interdependent. Even though we read separately these things, but when it comes to practice, they are common and interdependent. So that is where we have to understand the importance. We think with only the repertory we can cure the cases, or with only Materia medical knowledge we can prescribe the remedy. No, it is not like that. The three branches are interdependent. Functionally, they are independent, but when it comes to practice, holistically to prescribe a remedy, these three branches acts very important. To be a successful and classical homeopathy, one must learn and master these three disciplines. So to master it, it requires time. So it takes the time. So slowly as the practice increase, you get involved and learn and master these three disciplines. So first let us see the organon of medicine. So how many of you study the organon of medicine daily or occasionally? Because many of us have this idea that it is a boring subject. That's why I keep the occasionally. Most of here attendees are the interns, I think so. So please reply in chat box that how many of you study the organon of medicine daily or occasionally. Those who study, yes, keep yes in chat box. Yes, but occasionally. Sonal Tiwari ma'am. So I think only one reply has came. That means two. Okay. That means most of us don't read this organon of medicine. So it is very important. You have to read. Why? Because so we read organon of medicine before practice in college life for the purpose of exams. So to get out of that exam, to pass, to get degree, we read the organon of medicine because it has some marks that helps us to pass in subject so that we can go further. It is not like that. We have to read daily. You read in before practice if you read or not, but after the practice you have to read daily. Why? Because during before practice for exam we can read, but during practice, see, if you want to go to some destiny, we are going daily to some destiny, we know the path, we can go easily, but one day in that path some hurdles has came, some disturbance has occurred, or some incidents has happened, so that that path is not clear, it is blocked. Then what we do? However, we want to reach that destination, so we take some help, so some support of some person, whether there is another way or not, or Google Maps, to know that to reach the destiny. So in the same way, during practice, this organon helps in such way. Because initial days of practice, we obviously we have the failures. It is where we have to read the organon of medicine. That is where organon of medicine, so many editions are built. So many editions are built. Where Hahnemann tried every path, so which is correct tool that has kept in the organon of medicine. When you are getting that failures, you have to study the organon. Then you will get that solution. So that is very important that you have to read organon daily basis. You are getting in mental diseases, how to take the case. In one-sided diseases, how to take the case, how to prescribe them. That all things are there in organon of medicine. So initial days, there was many failures for me also. So I started reading the organon of medicine. So I came across this particular aphorism, which is eye opener for me. So I used it to prescribe on the basis of Materia medica, or sometimes on the basis of Repertory. I used it to prescribe and I used it to get the result. But after reading this aphorism, after this eye opener, I have changed my mindset. Then I realized why I am not getting success, why I am getting the 30 to 40% of success. See what here he says that if, however, among the symptoms of the remedy selected, there be none that accurately resemble the distinctive, peculiar, uncommon symptoms of the case of a disease, and if the remedy correspond to the disease only in general, remedy corresponds to the disease only in general, vaguely described, indefinite state, that is nausea, debility, headache, and if there be among the known medicines, none more homeopathically appropriate, and the medicine is not homeopathically appropriate, in that case, physician cannot promise himself, leave the opposite patient. You alone yourself cannot promise that immediate favorable result from the employment of this unhomeopathic medicine. When we prescribe a remedy, we have that desire to get the 100% result. But when you are not prescribing homeopathically the remedy, then you don't expect the 100% result, because it is not homeopathically prescribed remedy. It is unhomeopathically, whether you are prescribing on the disease symptoms. That won't give the accurate result, because homeopathy needs, if you want to prescribe a remedy, it needs the uncommon symptom, PQRS symptom. This is where the homeopathy works. So whatever the remedy you are prescribing, after prescribing, you want the better result, you have to have that PQRS thing, that uncommon characteristic symptoms in that remedy. Then only that gives the 100% result. Otherwise, you cannot promise yourself that this remedy will give the favorable result in this particular disease. So this is where eye-opening for me. So that is where we have to read day in and day out the basics of homeopathy, Organon, Repertory, Materia medica. So now one more question to all. How many of you are using Organon of medicine in homeopathy practice? How many of you are using Organon of medicine in homeopathic practice? Please type in chat box. Myself, very good, sir. Avani Patel, very good, ma'am. Remaining or not using Organon of medicine in their practice? Then very less persons are using the Organon of medicine in homeopathic practice. But there is only one person replied for this question. If I say that you all are using the Organon of medicine day in and day out in your practice, how? You know, knowingly or unknowingly, we are using Organon of medicine in our practice. That is, when we are selecting a remedy, to select a remedy, we have to take the case. That means you are applying the case taking things. To administer that remedy which you have selected, that you have to know the administration things, like routes of administration, the potency, the dose, and everything. Knowingly or unknowingly, we are using these principles of Organon of medicine, but we are using it unknowingly. Just for the purpose of prescription, we are using that. So it is not good that. So what is different? After prescribing a remedy, after reading Organon of medicine, after knowing Organon of medicine, if you prescribe, what happens? Unknowingly, what happens? If you don't know Organon of medicine and you are prescribing the remedy, what happens? When you don't know Organon of medicine, then you are palliating or suppressing a case. However, we are getting the result, but the success rate is not fullest. When we know the principles of Organon of medicine, the guidelines of Organon of medicine, then we can get the success rate very much. That slight improvement in our practice. However, we are using Organon, but by knowing how to use correctly, then we can improve our success rate in homeopathic practice. So this is where it is very important. So first aphorism, the physician high and only machine is to restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed. Here he clearly says, that is where we have to understand the aphorism very clear. The physician high and only machine is to restore. His machine is to restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed. How he went into the disease condition, in the same way he has to be restored. So it is not easy task. So it is a machine. That means it involves many process. It involves many things. case taking, case analysis, case interpretation, case recording, repertorization, and route of administration. These many things are there. This is a purely art that you have to learn. The case taking is art. Case processing is art. Administration is remedy is art. Seeing the follow-up is art. So this is the art thing. Just we are studying the things, but it is a art. We have to involve into that and read. So for the homeopath, it is important quality is a unprejudiced observer. So unprejudiced observer, we use it to read this for the purpose of exam. But what is clearly unprejudiced observer is physician, if he want to be unprejudiced, he have to focus on the patient only by keeping his all senses alert. Then only he can be unprejudiced. Otherwise, he won't be unprejudiced. He should be well aware what is happening with the patient, what he is saying. So he has to perceive by means of senses. He notice only the deviation from the former healthy state of the now diseased individual. So he have to notice, he have to observe, he have to perceive through his senses. So that is where unprejudiced observer helps. If you want to be unprejudiced observer, you have to be aware. You have to be alert. You have to tune your senses. You have to focus on patient himself only. You have to, when you focus on patient, you have no other thought process in your mind. You're focusing on that. That means you are not prejudiced of other things. You are only unprejudiced and you are looking to the patient. You are hearing to the patient. You are observing the patient. That is where unprejudiced thing comes into the play. It is art. It has to be learned. It comes over a period of time. If you really want to learn, you have to practice that. So it is where important thing. So 3 points is necessary to. Is it clear that my explanation is understandable? Is it clear? Yes, thank you. So further, there is a 3 points in necessary to cure patient. That is knowledge of physician, knowledge of drug, and administration of the remedy. So these 3 are very important. So knowledge of physician. So knowledge of, when we come to the knowledge of physician, he has to have the knowledge of disease in general and homeopathic point of view. That is, in general means disease diagnosis also, where the knowledge of medicine also plays an important. What type of disease? Disease diagnosis. We, as a physician, homeopathic physician, we have to know in general what is disease, how to diagnose this disease, what are the common symptoms of this disease. Why? Because to prescribe remedy homeopathically, to understand the disease homeopathically, we have to know what is a common thing. Then only we can know the uncommon things. That is where all the anatomy, physiology, pathology, medicine knowledge plays important role. Then only you are holistically, you can prescribe, you can diagnose the disease and the patient also. So in aphorism 7, Hahnemann says that we can perceive nothing but the morbid symptoms. We can perceive, that is not seeing, it is a perceiving. It is not simple seeing, it is perceiving. Nothing but the morbid symptoms. That is disease symptom. It must be the symptoms alone by which the disease demands. With this morbid symptoms only, disease demands and points towards the remedy suited to relieve it. That deviation from the health, that morbid symptoms, that which are helpful for the remedy selection. That forms the totality of the symptoms. So totality of the symptoms is not simple collection of the symptoms. That collection has to be their characteristic symptom. What is that characteristic symptom? What is that PQRS symptoms? That individualizes the patient. That symptom which individualizes the patient. That symptom has to be there in your totality of the symptom. Then only that will points and demands for the remedy which is suiting for that person, not the disease. So individualizing symptom has to be there in your totality of the symptom. Indeed, the only thing that physician has to take note of in every case of disease and to remove by means of his art. So that to get that individualized symptom, it is an art where physician has to be trained in his practice in order that it shall be cured and transformed into the health. To get healthy state of the person or to cure that person, you have to be artistic and you have to be in your remedy. There should be a PQRS symptom in your totality. So this is where we have to read everyday aphorisms. So we fail in homeopathic practice if we don't have this skill or art. What is that? What is that skill or art that required for homeopathic practice or homeopathic practitioner? Case taking, very good. Case taking, okay. Most important skill, most important art. Yes, correct. Remaining persons. You have to involve into this. Then only we can learn many things. Remedy selection, very good. Case processing also, nice. All these things are very important. So one important skill is case taking, case processing, how to administer a remedy. These all are the art. On what basis we are doing this? What it requires? That case taking requires what? The most important art is when we fail in individualization, we will fail in homeopathic practice. So that all are important. This is very important. Individualization is important. So we have to individualize. To individualization, obviously we have to be that artistic case taking, that artistic case processing, artistic analysis and the evolution, and artistic in selection of the potency. So individualization is an artistic process of understanding the reaction of a unit in comparison of the other members of the group based on its peculiar characteristic and distinguishing feature. So this PQRS makes that person unique, that remedy unique. So this is what we have to train is to observe that uniqueness in the disease or while reading the Materia medica or while doing a repertory. That unique way of approaching, that whether we are seeing that uniqueness, then only we can individualize in repertory or Materia medica or the disease or the patient. So classical and successful practice of homeopathy is possible only by means of process of individualization. Manifestation of signs and symptoms depends upon the cause of the disease and the constitution of the patient. So depending upon the constitution of the patient, the disease is modified. The patient comes with symptom, the same disease name, but his symptoms are different. That everything which patient is uttering in our practice, everything patient is showing in our practice is according to his constitution. According to his constitution, the disease stimulus may be the common to every individual, but that stimulus is changed according to his constitution. That is where his constitution shows different symptoms which are unique to that person, that we have to train. Whether we are seeing, we are taking 1 hour of case taking, but whether we are seeing that uniqueness in that case, in that person, what he is saying, what he is giving us, that is very important. So every constitution is different. So we are having a similar anatomical structure and physiological function. It doesn't mean we are the same. We all are different and individual. We all have our way of thinking, reflexes, emotions, expressions, built desires, aversions, likes, dislikes. These indicate, see, these all are things which represent the person or the diseased individual or the patient as a whole. His emotions, his expressions, his build, his desires, likes and dislikes, hobbies, patterns of sweating, sleep patterns, and every individual dreams are different, which represent the patient as a whole. So to individualize the patient, like many have said, case taking is important. So we try to understand person holistically to solve his problems. In the case taking, it is not a simple writing. Here we are understanding the person with unprejudiced mindset, not with prejudiced. If he is an emotion, or he is an emotional person. It is not like that. We have to be unprejudiced. Just we note everything what his patient is doing or saying, the question patterns, and our observation, how he is entering into our clinic, how he is sitting in our clinic, how he is talking, whether he is a loquacious or whether he is an indolent patient. He is not able to talk. Depending upon the person who is came into our cabin, our questioning pattern has to be dependent. If he is a patient is very slow, sensitive person, if you ask the question loudly, then the patient response won't be the correct, because there is a no matching of the wavelength. That is nothing but the susceptibility. The susceptibility plays important. When the person is loquacious, you should not be a slow. You have to be also a fast pace. According to him, we have to frame the questions. If in a children case, according to the children's mentality, our questioning has to be. We cannot take the children case as we take the adult cases. So there should be a flexibility in our case taking. There is a molding of case taking in our talk, in our body language, in our framing of questions. Everything has to be there. So symptoms are scattered. There is a no fixed format. So there is a, for purpose of understanding, to know the basics of the case taking, in colleges there will be a format. But when we come to practice, there is no certain fixed format, because patient, we don't know from where the patient starts his case taking. We should not break his chain of thought process. We have to allow. The patient may directly enter with anger. In that case, we cannot ask what is your name. So from there only case taking is starting. So this is where no fixed format when it comes to practice. To know the basics of case taking, to have that information in college days, we will study in certain format. Then only we can know the basic things of case taking. When we come to practice, we have to apply. We can apply anywhere according to the patient. with applying the principles of homeopathy. The symptoms are scattered, so we have to collect every symptoms. So diagnosis of patient and the disease is very important. We will do in that case taking process. So there is no real cure of this or other disease can take place without strictly particular treatment. So every individual case has its own individual type of treatment. So every individual patient requires his own individual process of treatment. In every case, we can't apply the same treatment procedure. So even though the disease is same, but the process or the way of treatment is different. That is where individualization is important. Getting the simlimum is our aim, but to reach that simlimum, each individual case requires individual way of process. So each individual case requires individual process. This has to be understood. In old age people or in young age people or in adults or in child cases, everything requires different process. So this can be learned from the organon. What are the qualities of the physician to individualize the patient? To individualize the patient, so he should be a freedom from prejudiced and sound senses, attention in observing and fidelity in tracing the picture of the disease. That is where freedom from prejudice. You should be unprejudiced. There should be sound senses. Your senses should be alert. What he is doing, what he is saying, how he is sitting. These all senses has to be alert. Sound senses. It is not like that your senses are somewhere, your thought process is somewhere and you are in the cabin and you are seeing the patient. That won't work. Attention is observing. You are on the phone and patient is saying something and you are writing something. It won't work like that. If you want to clearly individualize the patient, it is not, you have to be attention in observation, observing what patient is doing in our cabin. 100% in your during the case taking process. It demands a patient, training, intelligence, alertness, knowledge of medicine, disease, application of remedy to disease state, experience of the physician parts. So his experience also plays an important, but every individual case is new. Even you see the 100 cases or you see the 2 or 3 cases, every individual is a new. So you have to take the break and you have to see the case as a fresh case. It is not with the past experience. You cannot see or you cannot judge the case. So knowledge of drug. So here knowledge of drug is also important. So now when we comes to the knowledge of drug, what Organon says is doctrine of drug proving and doctrine of drug dynamization. So in our Organon of medicine, there are the 7 cardinal principles. There are the 3 theories, 3 laws, 2 doctrines, and theory. They are the laws like law of similia, law of simplex, law of single. So these are the laws. This cannot be changed. It has to be applied. It has to be applied. So application of things has to be done on the basis of law. If you are prescribing a single dose, similar, these all are the law. In every case, this is applicable. This can be applicable. So we cannot change these laws because these are the universal laws. When we comes to next other is theory of vital force and theory of chronic disease, with the miasms. and the vital force. Every individual have different opinions of the vital force or the miasm or the chronic disease. It may be changed when we go further deep knowledge into the organon or into the practice. This may be changed. That's why these are the theories. Theory of vital force, theory of chronic disease. And other two is drug dynamization doctrine. Doctrine is nothing but it is practically proven. It has to be practically done. That is where drug dynamization, the potentization comes into the play. Drug proving, it is a done on the provers. So this is also applicable, practical part. So these are the difference. So this has to be understood. I think I am clear what I am saying. So all are getting that what I am saying is it understandable? Whether I am fast or the slow. Please type in chat box. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. So individualization of the drug. So when we individualize, so it is in aphorism 19, aphorism 19, Hahnemann says that it is evident that medicines could never cure disease if they did not possess the power of altering man's state of health, which depends on the sensation and the functions. So what he says that जो भी remedy, the person, जो भी remedy, if it is not altering, if it is not giving any alteration in the person's health, then it won't have the capacity to cure remedy. That's why during the drug proving and during when we administer the remedy, we see for the reaction of the persons. That means his potency, his wavelength is matching. That potency is correct. Whether the drug may be right or wrong, whether the medicine is right or wrong, but the potency is correct. So medicine has to be a altering capacity. Medicine has to be their altering capacity. So disease producing power is the disease curing power of the medicine. जो जो मेडिसिन डिसीज प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, जो ड्रग डिसीज प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, उसी ड्रग को क्यूर करने का कैपेसिटी भी रहेगा. So Hahnemann drug proving, he says that it is a process of acquiring the knowledge of instrument intended for the cure of the natural disease, investigating the pathogenic power of the medicine. So it is a definition of the drug proving. So whatever the drugs are proving, जो भी drugs used for the proving of the remedy, that are done on the basis of the fixed and eternal laws and the principle. Small and moderate doses are given. If you give the toxic dose, high doses, that makes the toxicology. Pathological symptoms it will give. So we will use small and the moderate doses. Idiosyncratic prover. The idiosyncratic prover, the persons are the best provers. These provers are the best provers because these persons are very idiosyncratic. These persons are very sensitive to that drug. So they can give the reactions very minute manner, at minute level also. So because of that, these provers give the PQRS symptoms very accurately. So there is no surrogates, no substitute. In homeopathy, There are no substitutes, no surrogates. होम्योपैथी में सब्स्टिट्यूट्स नहीं है. हर एक डिसीज को इंडिविजुअलाइज करना है और उसको उसके इंडिविजुअलाइज के हिसाब से उनको मेडिसिन देना है. अगर इंडिविजुअलाइज नहीं कर रहे हैं तो वी विल प्रिस्क्राइब partial remedies or remedies which are suppressing that, which palliate that remedies we will give. That's why the knowledge of the medicine is very important. Then only we can prescribe that accurate remedy. Otherwise we will prescribe the minimum nearly possible remedies or closer remedies, but not the accurate remedies. There is a one remedy that is needed in the case. Whether it is known or not, it is needed in the case and it has no substitutes. हर एक केस में एक रेमेडी चाहिए. वो एक ही रेमेडी उस पर्सन को क्यूर करेगा. अगर आपने उस रेमेडी को छोड़ के आप दूसरा रेमेडी दे रहे, वो क्यूर नहीं करेगा, उस पेशेंट को क्यूर नहीं करेगा, क्योंकि उस डिसीज को एक ही रेमेडी रहेगा. इसीलिए मेडिसिन नॉलेज, मेटीरिया मेडिका नॉलेज इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. दैट्स व्हाई यू हैव टू लर्न एवरी डे द मेटीरिया मेडिका. It may be that we cannot see that it is needed. It may not appear to be indicated, but it is needed all the time. Through the intimation may not have come to the eye or ear of the physician, but it is needed. अपन नहीं देख सक रहे उस रेमेडी को, वो नहीं है कि वो इंडिकेटेड रेमेडी नहीं है. जो देख रहे हैं वही रेमेडी इस डिसीज में काम करेगा, ऐसा नहीं रहेगा. मगर उस डिसीज में उस पर्सन को एक ही रेमेडी चाहिए. अपन नहीं देख रहे इसीलिए वो नहीं दे रहे. वो देखने के लिए अपने को डेली मेटीरिया मेडिका पढ़ना चाहिए, हर ड्रग पढ़ना चाहिए, डिफरेंट एंगल से पढ़ना चाहिए. सो अगर वो रेमेडी नहीं मिल रहा है, आपको मेटीरिया मेडिका खोलना है, आपको रिपर्टरी करना है, वेट करना है, वॉच करना है. उस केस में अगर केस ट्रीट नहीं हो रहा है, यू शुड नॉट चेंज. तुरंत मेडिसिन चेंज नहीं करना है. आप वेट करो, देखो क्या हो रहा है, क्या नहीं हो रहा है. डिफरेंट मेटीरिया मेडिकास खोलो, डिफरेंट ऑथर्स से पढ़ो, देन यू विल फाइंड द रेमेडी. So administration of remedy, there is a routes of administration of remedy and potency and the dose. So different routes of administration of remedies are there. We have to know what route we have to prescribe. Children's, how to prescribe. If the child is 1 year of old, if you are prescribing the biochemic 6x tablets, he cannot take. That has to be diluted in that water. Or we are giving the 40 size pills that cannot be swallowed, that cannot be chewed by the child. That has to be diluted in the water and it can be given. That is very important. What administration, what routes of administration you are giving, this all plays an important. These things will be said in Organon of Medicine. इसीलिए आपको रेगुलर Organon of Medicine आपको पढ़ना चाहिए. एवरी डे वन एफोरिज्म. आपको समझ में आंदे नहीं आंदे, बट यू हैव टू रीड. आप पढ़ना चाहिए, क्योंकि लाइफ लॉन्ग अपन प्रैक्टिस करते हैं. नाउ यू हैव रीड वन एफोरिज्म. आपने एक एफोरिज्म पढ़ा है, इट इज नॉट वेस्ट. आगे जाके 1 साल के बाद तो भी वो एफोरिज्म का इम्पोर्टेंस आपका प्रैक्टिस में आपको काम आएगा. इसीलिए आपको हर एक दिन एक एफोरिज्म पढ़ना चाहिए, हर एक दिन एक रेमेडी पढ़ना चाहिए, हर एक दिन एक रिपर्टरी में रूब्रिक्स देखना चाहिए. So potencies and the dose, depending upon his susceptibility, the potency differs. What type of potency has to be given in the case, that is differs. And the dose, that differs from every individual case. हर एक individual case में different types of potencies has to be administered, different types of doses has to be there given. So आपको potency और doses select करना रहे तो आपको उसका susceptibility पहचानना चाहिए. उस पर्सन का ससेप्टेबिलिटी क्या है, ये ससेप्टेबिलिटी कहाँ से पढ़ सकते हैं? ऑर्गेनन ऑफ मेडिसिन, फिलोसफीज. आप हर एक फिलोसफी पढ़ना चाहिए, नॉट ओनली ऑर्गेनन ऑफ मेडिसिन, रॉबर्ट्स फिलोसफी, स्टुअर्ट क्लॉस फिलोसफी, केंट फिलोसफी, हर एक फिलोसफी पढ़ना चाहिए. देयर प्रैक्टिकल अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज देयर इन दैट फिलोसफीज. सो ब्यूटीफुल अंडरस्टैंडिंग हाउ टू प्रिस्क्राइब. बहुत जनों को अपने को एक डाउट आता है कि कौन सा पोटेंसी देना चाहिए, कितना डोज देना चाहिए, इस केस में कौन सा पोटेंसी. फ्रीक्वेंटली इन एवरी सेमिनार मेनी पेशेंट विल आस्क, मेनी डॉक्टर्स विल आस्क दिस क्वेश्चंस. दिस आंसर इज देयर इन फिलोसफीज. गो एंड रीड, जाके फिलोसफीज पढ़ो. कैंट फिलोसफी, रॉबर्ट फिलोसफी, स्टुअर्ट क्लॉस फिलोसफी, इसमें क्लियरली दिया है पोटेंसी कैसा देना है, किस केस में कैसा देना है, चाइल्ड में कैसा देना है, एडल्ट में कैसा देना है, हाउ ऑफन रिपीट करना है, उसमें दिया है. तो दिस इज वेयर ऑर्गेनन ऑफ मेडिसिन इज important. So let us see one case taken on a phone call in the early morning. The patient called and said, when I am going for the stool, bleeding is coming from rectum. Pain also present, burning type of pain. Swelling also present. I am not able to understanding what is happening. He is not able to understanding. Since today morning I have having this complaint. Doctor, I said him to send me photo. I asked what food you have took last night. Regular food only, doctor, he said. So any stressful incidents happened since last 2 days? Because I have inquired, it is on phone call. So there is no other ailments is coming. But I ask, any stress you have haven't even any ailments? I am searching for the ailments because it has happened suddenly. So I asked, any stressful incidents happened since last 2 days? Yes. Patient says, fight with the boss. I have not done any wrong. He is blaming me. So I got anger and came off from the company. So I took the rubrics mind injustice cannot support, rectum pain, burning, smarting, stool after, persisting for long time, rectum pain violent, rectum hemorrhoids, hemorrhaging, bleeding, stool during. So after repertory, I have said him to take nitric acid 1 m, acid nitricum 1 m. So many of us, it is beautiful remedy. Nitric acid works beautifully in hemorrhoids, but this type of hemorrhoids, whether it will work or not, it is purely a surgical case, but it will work or not. So I prescribed nitric acid and I suggested him to take like curd food or salads like this from dietary suggestions, and follow was like this: the day 1, day 2, and day 3, day 5. And now there is no complaint of this. So this is where beauty of the homeopathy. If you select the correct remedy on the basis of mind, physically, ailments, it will work very beautifully. So let us have some look on Materia medica, how it is important. So what is Materia medica? It is a true Materia medica. The true Materia medica is a book that contains a collection of pure, reliable, unaltered, real effects produced by the simple single drug substance on provers. This is done by proving them on healthy humans on both sexes on all age group and in all different constitutions. So this Materia medica, it contains pure, reliable, unaltered real effects of the drug. अगर आपको मेडिसिन को समझना है क्लियरली, आपको मेटीरिया मेडिका पढ़ना चाहिए. करेक्ट रेमेडी आपको सेलेक्ट करना रहे तो आपको मेटीरिया मेडिका नॉलेज रहना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर आपको मेटीरिया मेडिका नॉलेज नहीं है, आपको रिपर्टरी नॉलेज है, आप जाके रिपर्टरी पे सिम्टम्स डाल रहे हैं, आपको रेमेडीज आ रहा है, उसमें एक 4-5 रेमेडी आ रहा है, उसमें 2 रेमेडीज अपने को पता है क्या है रेमेडी, फ्रीक्वेंटली वी नो वी विल प्रिस्क्राइब. अगर 4-5 रेमेडी में बेस्ट रेमेडी जो भी है, अगर वो दिख रहा है मगर अपने को पता नहीं है उस रेमेडी के बारे में, तब क्या करेंगे? उस 4-5 रेमेडी में जो रेमेडी अपने को बहुत पता है, उस रेमेडी को अपन प्रिस्क्राइब करते हैं. सो दिस इज वेयर वी फेल. यहाँ हम फेल होते हैं. इसीलिए अपने को हर एक दिन मेटीरिया मेडिका पढ़ना है. इट्स नॉट सिंपल रीडिंग, वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. ऐसी पढ़ने के लिए नहीं पढ़ना है मेटीरिया मेडिका, उसको समझना है. डिफरेंट डिफरेंट ऑथर्स ने क्या बोला है, हर एक ऑथर ने किस पॉइंट पे स्ट्रेस किया है, उस पॉइंट्स को अपन समझना चाहिए. तभी अपन करेक्ट मेडिसिन प्रिस्क्राइब कर सकते हैं. So there is a wide range of materia medica in front of us. Now it is our art that which one has to be selected. It is purely art. अभी बहुत सारे मेटीरिया मेडिकस है अपने होम्योपैथी प्रैक्टिस में. अब कौन सा मेटीरिया मेडिका सेलेक्ट करना है इस केस में, वो अपन चुनना चाहिए. वो आर्ट है. अगर वो आर्ट को सीखना बोले तो आपको क्या है, मेटीरिया मेडिकास पढ़ना चाहिए. It is purely art. To learn that art, we have to know the science and basics of materia medica. So basics of materia medica पता रहना चाहिए. What are the different types of materia medicas? What are the philosophy of that materia medica? ये पूरा पता रहना चाहिए. सिंपल अपन पढ़ते जा रहे हैं, ये रेमेडी में ये सिम्टम है, ये सिम्टम है, ये सिम्टम है. वी कैनॉट क्या बोलते हैं उसको, मेमोराइज नहीं कर सकते. वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. That is where basics of materia medica helps us. How to understand? We have to understand the philosophy. हर एक materia medica का एक philosophy रहेगा. ये बहुत important point बोल रहा हूँ मैं. हर एक materia medica, हर एक repertory, हर एक philosophy, organ of medicine में philosophies है. हर एक author का एक philosophy रहेगा. अगर आप for example लिए तो आपको केंट ले लें. केंट के दौरान से अपन समझेंगे. केंट का फिलॉसफी है, केंट का मेटीरिया मेडिका है, केंट रिपर्टरी है. अगर अपन देखें तो हर एक में फिलॉसफी कॉमन रहेगा. दैट मीन्स everywhere he stress upon the mental symptoms. When we study, अगर अपन केंट मेटीरिया मेडिका पढ़ते हैं, there are बहुत सारे symptoms of mind symptoms we see rather than the physical symptoms. When we see the Kent philosophy, he mostly stress upon mental symptoms, mind symptoms, how the patient is, how he is saying. He gives importance to mental generals. Philosophical point of view, organon of medicine point of view. Kent has some philosophy common among this materia medica, repertory, and organon. So common philosophy is mind section, mental symptoms. This is a common thread which is running. That is where we have to understand the philosophy. If you want to study, if you want to understand the things clearly, you have to understand the philosophy. Not only author, our philosophy also is there. Every person has their own individual philosophy. That we have to understand. Then only we can understand what we are doing, what we are doing in our day-to-day practice, what we are talking, basing on that philosophy. The same way our branches have philosophy. If you understand that philosophy, you will easily understand the subject. It purely depends on you which Materia medica has to choose. In particular individual case, it purely depends on you. So that is where you have to read the Materia medica. So individualize the case and differentiate the remedies which come closely. To individualize the case or to differentiate the remedies which came closely, we have to be thorough with our Materia medica knowledge. We have to know PQRS symptoms. अपने PQRS symptoms क्या है उस Materia medica में, अगर उस ड्रग में क्या PQRS सिम्टम अगर पता रहे तो अपन इजीली इंडिविजुअलाइज कर सकते हैं उस केस को. इसीलिए डिफरेंट Materia medicas, डिफरेंट ways of approach, like kingdom differentiation, like group studies. Kingdom wise we have to study the Materia medica, or rubric wise we have to study the Materia medica. Every angle we have to see that remedy. उस रेमेडी को डिफरेंट एंगल से अपन देखना चाहिए. उसको क्लियरली समझना बोले तो एवरी एंगल से देखना चाहिए. किंगडम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, इफ इट इज अ प्लांट रेमेडी, अगर वो प्लांट रेमेडी रहेगा तो प्लांट पर्सन कैसा रहेगा, प्लांट रेमेडी कैसा सिम्टम्स देगा. अगर एनिमल रहे तो एनिमल रेमेडीज कैसा देगा. रूब्रिक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, रूब्रिक के हिसाब से भी अपन पढ़ सकते हैं Materia medica. इस हिसाब से अपन डिफ्रेंशिएट कर सकते हैं. इसीलिए homeopathic Materia medicas are very important. Is that studying or understanding the Materia medica you will solve a case? No. Why? Why? Because there are n number of Materia medicas are present in our homeopathy. Depending upon the causes, depending upon the symptoms, depending upon the clinical observation, depending upon the proving, depending upon the sphere of action, depending upon the mind, depending upon the pathology, there are different Materia medicas. So it is very important that you have to know how many Materia medicas are there. What are the Materia medicas? How can we use that Materia medicas? We have to know clearly. Keynote Materia medicas, regional Materia medicas, comparative Materia medicas. So when we know these all things and the basics, why this is said keynote, why this is said regional, why this is said comparative Materia medica, why this is a therapeutic pocket book, therapeutic Materia medica, why this is a mind section Materia medica. So we have to know from where it is coming. It is purely from the different authors' philosophy. According to their philosophy, they took, these all are there in our provings. These all symptoms comes in our proving. See, these are the different types of Materia medicas. There are Materia medica pura and condensed Materia medica by Herring. So modified Materia medicas, lectures or homeopathic Materia medica by Kent, and pocket manual of homeopathic Materia medica by Borick, Allen's keynote, comparative Materia medica, minerals in homeopathy, Jan Scholten. So these are the Materia medicas coming from, when we see broader aspects, these all symptoms are present in proving. If you want to clearly understand the drug or the medicine, you have to go to the Materia medica pura or the condensed Materia medica, where everything is present holistically. So now there are many Materia medicas. Why it came? Because every authors, according to their philosophy, they took part from that Materia medica pura or the condensed Materia medica, or the proving the symptoms which are present, all the symptoms which are present in this Materia medica. From that Materia medica, these authors took part by part. According to their philosophy, they took some part and they made one Materia medica. And one author took one part and they made one Materia medica. In this way, there are different Materia medicas. Like Kent. Kent says mind, importance to mind. And the same remedies, Alliance gives a keynote. Whereas that same remedies, Boric gives pathological journals, pathological prescription. But it is common. अगर आपको समझना चाहिए होलिस्टिकली, आपको मेटीरिया मेडिकास कहाँ पर पूरा प्रूविंग सिम्टम्स अवेलेबल रहता है, वो मेटीरिया मेडिका पढ़ना चाहिए अगर आपको होलिस्टिकली समझना चाहिए। तो अगर आप कोई एक केंट, बोरिक, एलेंस, फैरिंगटन ऐसा पढ़ते जाएंगे तो आपको आधा समझ में आएगा। आपको पूरा तरह से उस रेमेडी को नहीं समझा सकते हैं, उस मेडिसिन को नहीं समझ सकते हैं, क्योंकि हर एक ऑथर उसके फिलॉसफी के हिसाब से उस प्रूविंग मेटीरिया मेडिका, द मेटीरिया मेडिका विच हैज ऑल द प्रूविंग सिम्टम, उस प्रूविंग मेटीरिया मेडिका से पार्ट बाय पार्ट लेके उनके हिसाब से, उस फिलॉसफी के हिसाब से वो उनके एक मेटीरिया मेडिका बनाए। इसीलिए अगर आप एक रेमेडी का देखें तो अगर माइंड सिम्टम चाहिए उस रेमेडी का, आप केंट पढ़ते हो। अगर आपको पैथोलॉजिकल सिम्टम्स चाहिए और पैथोलॉजिकल रेमेडी चाहिए और पैथोलॉजिकल एक्सप्लेनेशन चाहिए, आप बोरिक पढ़ते। सेम रेमेडी का अगर आपको कीनोट सिम्टम्स चाहिए, आप अलेंस कीनोट पढ़ते। मगर इस सब इंफॉर्मेशन एक ही मेटीरिया मेडिका में है, वो जहाँ पर लाइक एग्जांपल मेटीरिया मेडिका प्यूरा और कंडेंस्ड मेटीरिया मेडिका, एनसाइक्लोपीडिया ऑफ मेटीरिया मेडिका, इस मेटीरिया मेडिका को पढ़ना चाहिए। अगर आपको पूरा तरीके से आपको समझना बोले तो इस मेटीरिया मेडिका को आप पढ़ना चाहिए। So we don't find all information in one book. So we have to read n number of books and we have to understand the remedy from all the books. Many schools of methods. So as a beginner, we are exposed to the many materia medicas and many ways of studying the medicines, and many methods are there. Nowadays, many methods has came like predictive method, Segal method, sensation method, classical method, keynote method, HHF method. In this way, many methods are there, but everything what we don't know is there is a common thread runs along all these methods that we have to catch. To catch that thread, we have to study the basics of the homeopathy, what we studied, again to basics. That is where our practice improves. So there is a prejudiced and fixed images. There should not be a fixed or prejudiced materia medica. Like इस डिसीज में ये दवा काम किया है, सो इस पर्सन में भी ये दवा काम करता है, वैसा नहीं चलेगा। Every disease requires different, even though the disease name is common, but it requires different remedies. If in that materia medica it is not available, that symptom, then you have to search for other authors, other symptoms, other authors, other materia medica. Then you will find these symptoms clearly there. I will give one example. When I was in internship, I have one case of varicocele, where the patient is very much suffering from the pain. Then I took the case in sensation method, and I was very new for the sensation method. I took the case and I come to the family of this one, Anacardiaceae family. So I know this person is from the Anacardiaceae family, but in that Anacardiaceae family, which remedy I have to choose, but I don't know. And I saw this symptom is there in that Anacardiaceae family, which remedy I have to choose, I don't know. Then what I did, I studied that remedies, all the remedies of that Anacardiaceae family from different authors. If it is not finding in one book, the same remedy is read in other Materia medicas. So then I found the remedy Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica. I studied Mangifera indica in all the books. In one boric book, I found the clear indication what patient is saying. When I see the Kent, there is no Mangifera indica. I am not finding the anywhere this thing, but I searched. You have to search different Materia medicas where we can find the explanation about this remedy. So I found the information about the Mangifera indica in boric. There is a clear indication for the varicocele. I prescribed Mangifera indica. It gave beautiful results. In this way, if we are finding the clear-cut symptom, we have to search. If we are not finding that symptom in one Materia medica, we have to search in other Materia medica. So that's way it works. So we have to invest some time to cure that patient. So knowing the remedy is not important, but understanding the remedy is very important. आपको ओनली मेटीरिया मेडिका आपको रेमेडी पढ़ने से कोई मतलब नहीं रहेगा. आपको उस रेमेडी को क्लियरली समझना चाहिए. सो अब से आप क्या करना है, उसको उस रेमेडी को समझने के लिए पढ़ना है. Not for the sake of by hearting, not for the sake of studying. To understand clearly, we have to read that. So every physical complaint have at one characteristic symptom. हर एक physical complaint एक characteristic symptom रहेगा. As a homeopath, your duty is to develop the skill of finding that characteristic symptom. आपको वो skill को develop करना चाहिए. उस characteristic symptom को देखने का skill develop करना चाहिए आपका practice में. How? See, if you take example, for every physical complaint, we take LSMC, location, sensation, modalities, and the concomitant. So when we see the location, if we take the one example, joint pains. If we take joint pains, if it is a knee joint pain, so knee joint pain remedy is there. Pain, knee joint. The location is knee joint. So it is common, but left side one remedy, right side one remedy. Depending upon the location, the remedies are different. So both the joints are involved. Joint is involved. So the remedies are differs. So this is the characteristic symptom. See, only one remedy. In one remedy, there will be only one side joint is involved. Only in one remedy, both the joints are involved. So this is a characteristic. So sensation. In some knee joint pain, there is a pain like burning sensation. Some is stitching type of sensation or dragging type. In this type, the different, depending upon the type of pain, there are the different remedies are there. If there is a stinging type, belladonna. If there is a burning type of pain, that is bryonia. So in this way, it differs. So location, in the location also we will see whether the bones are involved, whether the ligaments are involved, what is involving in that joint pain. Or tendons are involved. Depending upon if the ligaments are involved, the rustox we can prescribe. If the bones are involved, the bryonia can be prescribed. This is where we have to be clear in our thought process in finding that characteristic symptoms. The modalities, depending upon the modalities, exciting factor, maintaining factor. Someone says, like for example, knee joint, first movement aggravation. we will think, without any doubt, we think of Rustox. Why? Because it is a prominent modality, which is a characteristic symptom of Rustox. It is not that it is using from since past years Rustox for joint pains. We are using Rustox, not like that. It has strong modality of first movement aggravation. This is a characteristic symptom and continuous motion amelioration. Because of this characteristic symptom, we are using Rustox. These things we have to cultivate. These things we have to develop in our practice. So damp weather aggravation, Dalkamara, concomitant. For example, headache relieved by urination. So this is a characteristic. Purely these are all things, everything. Location has characteristic symptom, sensation has characteristic symptom, modalities has characteristic symptom, concomitant itself is a characteristic symptom. Whether we are seeing these all things or not in practice, just for the sake of writing or prescribing a remedy, we are writing location, sensation, modalities, concomitant. Not like that. We have to be thorough with our materia medica. Discharges, depending of the color, yellow, green, brownish, blackish, the remedies are differing. So we cannot prescribe everyone this Kali bike or everyone natrum sulf. So depending upon that color of discharge, it differs. Depending upon order, offensive, cadaverous, the remedies may differ. The consistency, thick, thin, watery, the remedies differs. So what are that remedy? We have to go to Materia medica and read that things very clearly. When we understand only, we can keep this in mind. When we understand only, we can remember these things. So we cannot buy out the Materia medica. So ailments from complaints after typhoid, complaints after disappointment of love, complaints after fright. So ailments also plays very important. If we take the disappointment of love, we get pulsatilla, natrum mure. This type many remedies we will get. But how to differentiate between these remedies? That can be learned from the Materia medicas. So mind section, there are the different medicines have different mind cells. Different remedies have different delusions, deliriums. Different medicines have fear, anxieties, fear with restlessness, aconite, anxiety with restlessness, arsenic, rustox. In this way, it differs. So this is about the Materia medica. So case, we see one case. There is a girl child of age 5 years came with a fever. She is suffering since 2 days, used allopathic medicine but not relieved. She is sleeping in bed. She is sleeping in bed calmly since 2 days. I don't know why she is sleeping. Appetite is decreased. So she came to my clinic also and she sat calmly without, she didn't speak any word also. She came and sat calmly. Her mother is saying she is sleeping in bed calmly since 2 days. I don't know why. She is sleeping. Appetite is decreased. She used to get chills on and off. She is thirsty. She is asking water and drinking. She doesn't want to cover while sleeping. So she is kicking off. He is removing that covering and sleeping. So this is said by the mother. So the middle girl is the patient. She, after entering into my cabin, she sat like that only. No talking, no movement, like this only. But my observation is previously when she came to me, she was very active. She used to play in the cabin. She used to jump on the sofa. But now she is very calm. It was very contradictory. She is very calm. She didn't talk even a one word to me. So on this basis, on this mother's narration and my observation, I gave her Ignitia 1M, 1 dose. Next day, she became normal, eating well, and going to school. So this is where, if you see the observation, even though patient is not saying anything, even though patient is not giving any symptoms, it is not giving a symptom is also a symptom. Not saying anything is also a symptom. So in Ignitia, when I went to Allen's keynote on this contradictory symptom, I went to Allen's keynote and I studied these things. This is a remedy for great contradiction. So children when reprimanded, scolded, and or sent to bed, get sick or have convulsions in the sleep. So in the fever, it is clearly given that with the thirst during chill, only amelioration by external heat without thirst, aggravation by covering. So on this basis, aggravation by covering with the thirst during chill, and there is a great contradiction I have seen. So I prescribe the Ignitia 1M. So this is where keynote prescription place. This is an acute case. I took the Allen's keynote and prescribed the Ignitia. Later after next day, the mother came and said that in the school, she got scolded by the teacher. That scolding made her these complaints. So this is where studying the materia medica is important. Knowing the each symptom is important. After working, even the patient will say, they will realize what is happened to me, what had happened to me after the remedy. So in many cases, before the remedy, after the remedy, there is this type of changes will become. They get awareness. So parent came and said that this is because the teacher has scolded her, and this was said by the child. So this is getting awareness is one of the most important sign of improvement of the case. So this is about the materia medica, and let us have some glimpse about the repertory. Is it clear? Is it clear? It is understandable. Thank you, ma'am. So let us have some points about the repertory. So repertory is a systematically and logically arranged index to the homeopathic materia medica, which is full of information collected from toxicology, drug proving, and clinical experience. So this is a systematically and logically arranged index. There was previously when Honeyman was there, at that time there was Honeyman gone did proving of the medicine, and he used to write in that book. But when he want to treat a patient, he wanted to search all the total book for one remedy. It is very time consuming. To select one remedy, you use it to see all the remedies, or you use it to search all the, you use it to see all the symptoms of that remedy. Then you use it to prescribe. So it is very laborious work. So it is very time consuming work. So later on, Boning Hussain, he made some systematic arrangement and logically. Later on, in this way, every day-to-day practice, the repertories has improved and improving, and it is made very easy that in selection of remedies. So using the repertory helps in selection of the remedy. This time, it saves our time, gives accurate. At times we confirm the remedy by repertory, by rubrics. In this way it is useful. So there are n number of repertories. There are the different repertories are there. There are general repertories, regional repertories, particular repertories, alphabetical repertories, and concordant repertories. So these n number of repertories are there. So what we have to study during practice, which repertory has to be used in which case. For exam purpose, we can learn these all the things, but for the practice purpose, during practice, we have to more focusedly study the which repertory has to be used. कौन सा repertory किस केस में यूज करना है, ये समझना चाहिए. आप अगर repertory पढ़ रहे तो आपको क्या समझना है, कौन सा केस में कौन सा repertory यूज करना है. फॉर एग्जाम के वास्ते अपन सब पढ़ते हैं, मगर कौन सा केस में कौन सा रिपर्टरी यूज करना है उसके ऊपर अपन फोकस करना है, ताकि दैट आल्सो सेव्स अस फ्रॉम टाइम सेविंग एंड एक्यूरेट रेमेडी we will get. So basically 4 methods of repertorizations are there. They are Bonninghausen method, Kent method, Boger's method and clinical methods. ये Bonninghausen method में क्या होता है, the case dominated by the physical symptom, the cases which are having the physical symptoms are more, like LSMC, what we have seen in Materia medica part, LSMC, the clear cut LSMC, location, sensation, modality. अगर आपको location, sensation, modalities concomitant clearly मिल रहे हैं केस में, clearly दिख रहे हैं, आपको कुछ टेंशन लेने का जरूरत नहीं है. आपको सीधा सीधा बोनिंगहॉसन रिपर्टरी में जाइए, उस सिम्टम्स को ले और वो सिम्टम्स को रूब्रिक के फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट करो और रिपर्टरी में डाल दो. तो इट इज ए टाइम सेविंग एंड accurate prescription, accurate remedy selections can be done. So doctrine of grand generalization can be done, cases with concomitant symptoms. So this is where we have to understand when to use Bonninghausen method. If there is a prominent mind symptom, अगर उस केस में माइंड सिम्टम्स ज्यादा है, मेंटल जनरल ज्यादा है, आप बोनिंगहॉसन में जाके कितना भी सर्च करो, आपको सही रेमेडी नहीं निकलेगा, सही रेमेडी नहीं मिलेगा और आपका टाइम वेस्ट हो जाएगा. अगर आपको माइंड मेंटल जनरल्स और द माइंड सिम्टम्स अगर आपको ज्यादा मिल रहा है केस में, तभी आपको क्या केंट मेथड यूज करना है, केंट रिपर्टरी यूज करना है. केंट रिपर्टरी में जाना है, उस मेंटल जनरल्स और माइंड फिजिकल जनरल्स और कैरेक्टरिस्टिक सिम्टम्स, तभी केंट रिपर्टरी यूज करना है. Bonninghausen method नहीं, Bonninghausen repertory नहीं. So in this way we have to read repertories. Boger's method, causative modalities, pathological generals, particulars with concomitant. अगर आपको डिसीज सिम्टम्स, डिसीज डायग्नोस सिम्टम्स, पैथोलॉजिकल सिम्टम्स मिल रहे हैं, पैथोलॉजिकल डायग्नोसिस मिल रहा है, मोडालिटीज अच्छा है, तभी आपको बोगर रिपर्टरी सेलेक्ट करना है. अगर आप केंट रिपर्टरी यूज कर रहे तो यूज कर सकते हैं, मगर टाइम कंज्यूमिंग, सही रेमेडी नहीं मिलेगा. तभी आपको क्या करना है, बोगर्स मेथड यूज करना, बोगर्स रिपर्टरी यूज करना है, ताकि उसमें क्लियरली रेमेडीज विच आर पर्टेनिंग टू पैथोलॉजिकल जनरल्स, उस केस में अच्छा तरीके से रिजल्ट दिया है, वो रेमेडीज रहता है. So that is where we have to know which case, in which case, which repertory has to be used. So clinical methods where clinical repertories come into play, where the common symptoms of diseases are there. So where clinical repertories are used. So why so many repertories are there? Because every author have their own philosophy. So every repertory have their own philosophy. So uses of repertory to find out the simillimum. It helps in the comparative study of the drugs. अगर आपको कंपैरेटिवली पढ़ना चाहिए, अगर आपको मेडिसिन कॉमन फैमिली मेडिसिन आ रहा है, आप फैमिली वाइज आप मेडिसिन पढ़ रहे हैं, अगर उसको समझना है, सेम कमिंग इक्वली same type of symptoms are present. If you keep that symptoms in rubric form, that changes. In even though the remedies are same, looking same, but some rubrics give some remedies. That's why eliminating rubrics, eliminating method comes into the play. So it helps in the selection of remedies. Helps to find out the complete symptoms. It helps in refreshing the knowledge of materia medica. It helps in selecting a drug for second prescription. So what are the limitations of repertory? It gives a small group of remedies. To finalize, we have to refer a materia medica. So again, interdependent. Repertory and the materia medica are interdependent. Interpretation of the physician. When we come to interpretation, the rubric conversion should be also accurate. It should not be on our prejudiced mind. We should not convert. We should not interpret. Then we will be giving a wrong rubric. Then we are getting the wrong remedy. Clear indication of the simillimum. So when there is a clear indication of the simillimum, then there is no need of using the repertory, because it is a keynote symptom. If you want, in that case also you are going for repertory, it will confuse you. Rather than confirm, it will confuse you. At times we can go, but major time we have to avoid it. It is not a magic key or a push button for our solution. Repertory is not the magic key or the push button. So after repertory, we can get the remedy and we can give the patient and we can get the result. No. After getting the remedy, we have to refer for materia medica. After getting the remedy, we have to see for organon of medicine, how to administer that medicine, how to select potency, what ways to administer. In this way, these three branches comes into play. So to learn this, there is a constant need and practice of repertorization is important. If you are not practicing or constantly using any repertories, then you won't master the repertory. So constant need of practice of repertorization is important. So let us see one Kent method of seeing the things. Kent divided the symptoms into generals. So Kent given the importance to the mental generals. Some symptoms, mental symptoms which individualize the patient as a holistically, like emotions, fears, dreams, desires, aversions, mental plane, jealousy, suspicious. These all things represent the person as a whole. This is where mental generals. So even though he is getting the physical, the physical complaints, but if you are getting these prominent symptoms, then you have to give importance to these symptoms first and later the physical symptoms. That is where Kent method is used. So physical generals, where he gives the importance to the physical symptoms like thirst, desires, aversions, appetite, sleep, sweat patterns. Depending upon the desires and aversion, clear-cut indication. See, everyone won't have the same desire, same aversion. According to his constitution, his desires differs. So periodicity of the symptoms. So midnight and mid-noon aggravation, arsenical, clear-cut indication. In this way, these are the physical genders which says about the person as a whole. So Ken gives first importance to these complaints, mental generals and the physical generals. Complaints related to side of the body, general subjective sensations, symptoms related to special senses, general pathological conditions, physical discharges like perspiration and menstruation. These symptoms he gives more important. Later, particular symptoms, particular part symptoms. Later, common symptoms which are common to the disease symptom. In this way, he gives the importance. So during analysis and evaluation also, he gives importance to this type only. Mental general, physical generals, particulars. Then he keeps these in the rubric form in the repertorial chart and he will get the medicine. The case, a female patient of age 45 years was heavy tea drinkers for the past 15 years, had much pain and discomfort in stomach with flatulence immediately after eating, gradually got better till next meal. Much rumbling in abdomen, appetite poor, bowels fairly regular, desires salts and sweets, aversion for fish and fatty acids, flashes of heat with sweating which relieved her. Generals were very chilly, aggravated by spring before and during thunderstorm, irritable in the morning, anxiety for others, fear something going to happen, crowds, fear of being suffocated, impatient, suspicious, offended very easily. So analysis and evaluation of symptoms, when we take the mental generals of the case, here fear something will happen, fear of crowd, fear robbers, fear suffocation, anxiety for others, suspicious, offended easily. Physical generals aggravated by spring, cold, or the spring, aversion to fish, aversion to acids, desired salts and sweets. Particulars, pain in stomach, aggravation after eating and flatulence. These are the particular symptoms. So when we kept these things in the repertorial chart, so remedy came was arsenic. So remedy given was arsenical. So here we have to know that mental generals, very important is mental generals. Later physical generals, particulars. In this way, when we choose the Kent repertory, we have to give importance to mental generals and the physical generals. So this is a case of arsenical 200. The patient was feeling better and improved her appetite and the sleep. She also gained confidence after the medicine. So let us see another case. Another case. This is a case of arthritis. So I have asked, tell me, sir. Patients had pain in both the upper and lower limbs, pain in ankle joints since six months. Dragging type of pain, I am also having erectation problem. So aggravation after eating. What else? Ankle joint pain is more. It is tearing pain. When I press it, I feel better. Touch also aggravates. I don't feel comfortable. I tell my wife to press it or walk for 10 minutes and sit. If I feel this tingling sensation, dragging pain or numbness, then I walk for 10 minutes. I have difficulty in morning to walk immediately after getting up. Tell about that difficulty. I ask, tell about that difficulty. For example, when I get up after dinner, I go for walk for 10 minutes. So this is so peculiar, no? At least in the hall. Even though I walk 3 kilometers in the evening, when I start feeling tingling sensation. I am not able to move immediately fast. I am move few steps and then I feel I can increase my pace. When I have pain, I cannot walk fast immediately. Meaning, I asked meaning. So before sitting, what pace I have walked. After getting up, I cannot walk in that pace. I have to move for at least 10 to 15 steps came to normal pace. To come normal pace, you have to move for at least 10 to 15 steps. Tell about that state. There is a lot of burning pain, tingling sensation, numbness will be there. Then you have to walk or press. See, I have asked only tell about that state. If normally we will ask how is that pain, whether it is a tingling or burning, how will be that pain? But I have simple question, tell about that state. Then patient started himself. I asked about the pain only, but different way. Tell about that state. State means it represents the whole thing. So he is suffering holistically. So I asked the question, tell about that state. There is a lot of burning pain, tingling sensation, numbness will be there. So then you have to walk or press. So he's giving complete information. In daytime, you won't feel like this. You are fine. You can walk at normal pace. In the evening or the night, this ankle and hand finger feels numbness, numb feeling, irritation. So he gives every patient will give every information. You have to write everything. Describe numb. So I asked the question, describe numb. When I sit, numbness increases. If I cannot move, pain increases. Literally, the moment I sleep, shock like tearing type of pain increases. Even in bed, I start moving, then I feel little better. So the moment, so the moment improves, so that the moment improves the state, so that the moment improves. If the moment is improved, the state also improves. There is a no movement, it keep becoming the worst. I ask experience in that state. It's like nerves dragging. Nerves. I feel like my nerves stuck. My feet has stuck. So unless I don't give it a pressure, unless I don't have move or unless I don't walk, it becomes stiff. So this is very classical. Little bit more, I asked. That experience only little bit more. He said that stiff, numb, becoming cold and losing its senses. There is a no circulation, boils, appears, burning. I have encouraged by saying nerve pain, tearing pain in different parts by showing rotating its wrist like this. He shows. When I do it continuously, I feel better. I improve my sensation. So holistically, his whole body is seeing this symptom. That is where holistically the patient expresses his complaint. Tell about the erectations. He said one more complaint was erectation. There was a burning heaviness will be there in the chest. It's like gripping type. When air doesn't passes from up, it goes from down. When air doesn't go, then it feels stuck feeling. So stuck feeling is there in joint pains and in this digestive complaint also. Tell about stuck and heaviness. When gas is not coming out from up or down, if it coming from up or it's struggling to come out. So it's struggling to come out like joint first movement or the movement he want. How much he struggle in the same way in digestive complaint also there is that type of struggling is there. So struggle, I asked. In the chest there is a heaviness, gas is trying to come out. It is not releasing out, trying to come out. Even though it is releasing little by little, still some struggle is there because I know gas is not coming. So little by little, few steps in joint pains, in gastric complaints, it is little by little. So holistically in every complaint, this is seen. Describe that struggle. It is not free, discomfort in that tube. It's like gripping heaviness. It's not long time. It's for short time. It's for short time. Like joint few steps. Here it is very short time. Gas comes out with loud sound. Then I feel better. How is your sleep? I asked. I think you are noticing this thing. How holistically this complaint is seen. Person is expressing his complaints. So this is where importance of questioning, importance of giving the space to the patient. He will explain everything. This has to be developed. This skill has to be developed as a physician. How is your sleep? Sleep was disturbed due to this pain. So this pain, sleep is a holistical. Because of this pain, the sleep also disturbed. So holistically, state is disturbed. So when we kept all the symptoms in the repertory, we got the remedy Rustox. The first remedy was Rustox, followed by sulfur, bryonia, calcarea, nux vomica. So analysis of the case, patient came with the complaints of pain in both upper and the lower limb, ankle joint pains, erectations. In the case, there is a strong modalities are present. Aggravation by first movement and evening and the night, amelioration by continuous movement. Sensation stuck, stiff heaviness in the joint complaints and the chest complaints also. So reaction was an active reaction, want to move, movement at least for 10 minutes. Compensation was a continuous movement. So sensation method and classical method, we are covering everything, every aspects, in every method we are seeing the remedy through and through. The miasm is typhoid miasm. The typhoid miasm is nothing but the acute plus sora. During this pain, patient desperately trying to come out pain by some or other movement. So there is desperate attempt. That trying is coming from the soric background and that pain was very acute. That both the combination is a typhoid miasm. So remedy was Rustox. So potency was 200. Follow up after 1 month, the patient is feeling better. His ankle joint pain is decreased by 80% and erectations decreased. Now patient is able to have sound sleep. So this is where holistically we have to take the case. In acute case, how to take, how keynote prescriptions are important. In chronic case, how this holistic approach is important. So this is about the Organon of medicine. Let us have some recap. We have seen the importance of Organon of medicine, Materia medica and the repertory and their individual things. Organon, how every principle is important. How the important learning the Organon repertory and the Materia medica in day-to-day life. In the beginning, it is difficult, but you have to cultivate. You have to develop that skill. You have to give time for the reading or to the practice. Then only we can learn these all things. So later in Organon, all the things we have seen, case taking, routes of administration, knowledge of physician, knowledge of drug, and administration of the remedy. And later in Materia medica, how different repertories are there. What is the importance of repertory? How it is intermingled with the Organon and the repertory. And why there are so many repertories. Why there are so many Materia medicas? Because the philosophy of the every author is different. According to their author, they are selected and they are worked on that and given the result. Different repertories, different Materia medicas. So we have seen different Materia medicas, different repertories with the case example of the hemorrhoids. One is a fever case and another one is a digestive symptom case, acidity case. One more thing is a Rustox case, the case of arthritis, the holistically. So I hope everyone have understood and learned something from this session. So I hope you will apply these things in your practice and improve your practice. So thank you so much for this opportunity, for giving me this opportunity to give a session to share my knowledge. I thank Dr. Shekhar Algundgi sir and Dr. Vipul Shastri sir for this opportunity, and the management of Vidhyadeep Homeopathic Medical College. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Such a valuable knowledge. So,
If any doubts are there, you can come with the doubts.
Dr. Maitri ma'am has some doubts, sir.
Yeah.
Dr. Maitri ma'am. Sit,
Yes.
sit.
Can you tell me about the repetition of medicines in your case?
Repetition depends on the condition, ma'am.
Okay. In
Generally,
your case, sir, how much you repeat that medicine in 1 month?
usually the complaint was very severe, so I repeated it for 1 week daily morning. Daily morning, one dose for 1 week. So if it is
Okay.
depending upon the intensity of the patient, depending upon the complaint, we can repeat. And depending upon the acute and the chronic disease, we have to select. And along with that, susceptibility of the patient also, how his reaction, how much potency also we can decide.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
If it is a chronic case, we can repeat every 15 days or every 1 month. In this way, there is no particular rules and regulations, ma'am. These all artistic one. So repetition may be, potency selection may be, doses may be, or routes of administration also. Some may give water dose, some may give pills, some may give single pill, some may give 6 pills. In this way, it differs according to the patient. I hope you have cleared, ma'am.
Okay.
If any doubts.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, madam. Welcome.
Interns, have you any doubt? Okay, sir. No responses.
Okay, I think they have understood.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.